Pecan pie.
Okay, I'll take it.
Strawberry shortcake, which is like putting a layer of strawberry heaven.
Lemon meringue pie. Very special. One of the classic English dishes.
Nostalgic flavors often transport us back to simpler times, and for many baby boomers, certain dinners evoke cherished memories of their childhood. Who could forget the joy of biting into a whoopie pie or enjoying a slice of grasshopper pie? Its mini flavor and chocolate crust providing a unique treat. Join us as we explore the 20 famous summer foods that faded into history. Banana pudding, a dessert with deep roots in American history, first emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Imagine it being a star at social gatherings, picnics, and potlucks, beloved for its comforting simplicity and delightful taste. Bananas, not native to America, arrived from the West Indies before the Civil War and soon flooded in from the Caribbean and Central America, thanks to improved shipping and clever marketing. Banana pudding owes a nod to the English trifle, a layered dessert of custard, fruit, and sponge cake. The first recorded banana pudding recipe in 1888 featured bananas and sponge cake topped with chilled custard and whipped cream. The introduction of vanilla wafers by the National Biscuit Company, Nabisco, revolutionized the recipe, making it easier to prepare. Although banana pudding's popularity has waned since World War II, it remains a cherished treat at some family gatherings and southern picnics. As we explore the history of banana pudding, a dessert steeped in tradition and beloved for its simplicity, can you guess what classic American dessert with a different twist we'll dive into next? Let's explore the comforting layers of Apple Brown Betty and uncover its sweet past.
Thanks for the Brown Betty.
All right, let's dig into that Apple Betty.
Hey, get your own. The boy gave it to me.
It was meant for both of us.
Apple Brown Betty is a comforting dessert that brings back memories of simpler times, having been a beloved treat since colonial days. The first mention of Apple Brown Betty dates back to 1864 in the Yale Literary Magazine. This humble dessert combines sweet apples, fragrant spices, and a twist, breadcrumbs or oats. Layers of sliced apples are interspersed with these sweetened crumbs, creating a delightful contrast of textures. The name Betty likely comes from the British term brown Betty, referring to a baked pudding made with layers of fruit and buttered breadcrumbs. American settlers adapted this concept using local ingredients like apples. To make it, you peel and slice tart apples, toss them with cinnamon, nutmeg, and brown sugar, and layer them with buttered breadcrumbs or oats. When baked, it's best served warm with vanilla ice cream or whipped cream. Whoopie pies was a dessert that sparked a friendly rivalry between New England and Pennsylvania. These treats, with their whimsical name, bring to mind cozy kitchens, generations of bakers, and the sweet scent of chocolate. New England claims the origin with the Berwick Cake Company in Roxbury, Massachusetts, where whoopie pies were advertised in 1931. Conversely, Amish kitchens in Pennsylvania tell a different tale, where Amish cooks supposedly crafted these from extra cake batter, with children shouting, "Whoopee!" upon discovering them in their lunch pails. Food historians agree that whoopie pies emerged around the 1920s and belong to the same dessert family as scooter pies, moon pies, and devil dogs. The treat consists of two soft chocolatey cookies with a creamy center resembling a handheld cake, perfect for picnics, school lunches, or midnight cravings. While not as prominent today, whoopie pies remain a cherished, nostalgic dessert. Grasshopper pie, with its fun name and mini charm, came from the lively cocktail culture of the 1950s and 60s. Despite its name, there are no actual grasshoppers involved. The pie's name comes from the grasshopper cocktail, a forgotten drink from that time made with green creme de menthe, white creme de cacao, and heavy cream resembling a minty milkshake with a boozy twist. The pie shares similar ingredients, combining whipped cream with marshmallows or cream cheese and flavored with creme de menthe and creme de cacao. This creates a fluffy mint Oreo delight on a chocolate cookie crust. Light green and refreshing, grasshopper pie became a popular Easter dessert, often served at springtime gatherings, delighting guests with its minty taste. However, it eventually faded from popularity, perhaps due to its rich dairy content, clashing with modern preferences. In mid-century America, where kitchens were lively and colorful, divinity was a staple at holiday gatherings and church potlucks. This nougat-like candy, both delicate and sweet, was a true labor of love. Its origins are as mysterious as its name. Some believe it came from the southern United States, while others think it has French roots. Regardless, divinity emerged in the early 20th century, captivating many with its unique texture. Making divinity required great patience and skill. Egg whites were whipped into glossy peaks, and hot sugar syrup, often mixed with corn syrup, was poured in carefully. The temperature had to be just right. Too hot, and the candy would crystallize. Too cool, and it wouldn't set. Pecans were then folded into the mixture, filling the kitchen with a scent of vanilla as the candy cooled on wax paper. Despite its heavenly taste, divinity eventually faded from popularity, likely due to the rise of convenience foods and the decline of home candy making. As we explored the meticulous craft of divinity, we uncovered the sweet traditions of mid-century American kitchens. But what about another iconic Southern treat that also features pecans? Let's dive into the history and irresistible allure of pecan pie. Pecan pie, known for its gooey texture and nutty flavor, has been a beloved Southern dessert for generations. This classic recipe, which includes sugar, butter, corn syrup, eggs, vanilla extract, and pecans, is simple enough for beginners but delivers a rich taste. The origins of pecan pie are unclear. Some believe it started when Native Americans gave pecans to French settlers in New Orleans in the 18th century. By the 1870s, pecan pie recipes appeared in Texas cookbooks, though it likely existed earlier. The pie gained popularity in the 1920s thanks to Karo syrup bottles featuring a recipe, with the modern version emerging in the 1930s. Despite its decline due to changing taste and health concerns, pecan pie remains a favorite during Thanksgiving and special occasions. So, whether you say pecan or pecan, this dessert is a timeless classic.
I see bananas when I look in your eyes. I'd shower you with coconut cream pies.
Coconut cream pie, a smooth and creamy dessert, appeared in the early 20th century. Imagine a custard-like filling with a tropical coconut flavor, nestled in a flaky crust and topped with whipped cream or meringue. In the 1800s, tropical fruits like bananas and pineapples were popular in America, but coconuts lagged due to their tough shells and perishability. Early attempts include coconut cream in an 1824 cookbook and coconut pie in an 1843 book, foreshadowing the coconut cream pie. The breakthrough came in the 1890s when French exporters in Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, shredded and dried coconut, making it more accessible. By the early 20th century, variations of coconut cream pie appeared in cookbooks featuring custard, flaky crust, and coconut shavings. Although its popularity has waned due to changing taste and health concerns, coconut cream pie remains a nostalgic treat for special occasions. Rice pudding, a creamy and comforting dessert, has a history spanning thousands of years in various cultures. Its journey began around 6000 BC in India as Kashir or Kashirka intertwined with legends of Krishna, a Hindu deity. Krishna's chess match wager, involving exponentially doubling grains of rice, led to a mountain of rice for the king of Ambalapuzha. Even earlier, during Roman times, rice pudding served medicinal purposes, soothing stomach upsets. Ancient physicians prescribed warm bowls of rice pudding to ease discomfort. Now, by the 14th century, rice pudding had traveled across continents, captivating Europe and the Middle East during the Islamic Golden Age. Renaissance chefs enhanced it with spices, fruits, and nuts. By the 18th century, rice pudding had become an everyday dish, popular due to affordable rice imports. However, as taste evolved, rice pudding lost its appeal and faded from prominence, perhaps due to its familiarity breeding indifference. As rice pudding's comforting legacy faded, a new dessert sensation was emerging. With a zesty twist and a fluffy topping, could lemon meringue pie be the fresh delight that captured hearts? Let's explore how this tangy treat became a classic favorite.
Pie for dessert. Lemon meringue pie.
Lemon meringue pie, with its bright yellow filling and fluffy meringue topping, has delighted dessert lovers for generations. This tangy treat originated in Philadelphia in the Victorian era thanks to Mrs. Elizabeth Goodfellow. She ran America's first cooking school and transformed her famous lemon pudding into what we know now as lemon meringue pie. By the mid-19th century, culinary influencer Eliza Leslie helped popularize meringue-topped desserts, making lemon meringue pie as a household favorite. Even President Abraham Lincoln was said to enjoy it. Today, this pie is a classic, often found in diners and cherished in the American South, where its refreshing lemon flavor complements the warm climate. However, not all stories end sweetly. Edwards lemon meringue pie, once a freezer-style staple, has become harder to find, leaving fans wondering why it was discontinued. It remains available at select retailers like Walmart, Amazon, Kroger, and Edwards' official website. Baked Alaska is a dessert that combines ice cream with warm meringue, creating a delightful contrast. It consists of a layer of sponge cake topped with ice cream, all encased in a meringue shell. The origins of Baked Alaska are debated, with some attributing it to Antoine Alciator of Antoine's Restaurant in New Orleans, while others credit Charles Ranhofer of Delmonico's Restaurant in New York City. The dessert's name commemorates the 1867 U.S. acquisition of Alaska. Despite its complexity, Baked Alaska manages to keep the ice cream intact through a brief bake at a high temperature of 260 degrees Celsius or by using a butane torch. Though vanilla was traditionally used, various flavors like chocolate, strawberry, and pistachio have also been explored. While its popularity has waned due to modern dessert trends and the challenge of preparation, it remains a remarkable treat that can be made at home, often paired with fruit for added flair. Chiffon cake, a delightful creation, made its debut in the 1920s thanks to Harry Baker, an insurance salesman from Los Angeles. He invented a cake that combined the lightness of angel food cake with the richness of butter cake, using salad oil instead of butter. For nearly 20 years, Baker kept his recipe a secret, creating a buzz among Hollywood's elite with its delicate texture and hint of citrus. In the late 1940s, General Mills acquired Baker's recipe, and chiffon cake burst onto the scene, with Betty Crocker leading the promotion of its airy layers. The 1948 release of Betty Crocker's Orange Chiffon Cake was an instant hit, praised for its simplicity and moistness. Over the following decades, variations like chocolate and fruit-filled chiffon cakes became popular, but eventually its fame faded, overshadowed by newer trends. Despite this, chiffon cake was a beloved treat, honoring Baker's innovative spirit. As chiffon cake's popularity waned, what dessert managed to capture hearts and palates with its rich, smooth appeal? Let's explore the history of chocolate pudding, a treat that has stood the test of time.
Bite out of this velvety, smooth chocolate pudding to make room for chocolate.
Chocolate pudding, that smooth and comforting treat, has delighted dessert lovers for generations. Its history goes back to 1730, when wealthy people enjoyed this rich, chocolatey custard. Back then, chocolate pudding wasn't just a dessert. It was a sign of sophistication. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, it was also seen as a nourishing food for those needing a calorie boost, though it wasn't exactly a healthy food. In 1934, General Foods introduced a chocolate pudding mix called Walter Baker's Dessert, later playfully renamed Pickles Pudding in 1936, making it easy for anyone to prepare at home. Despite its past popularity, chocolate pudding has become less prominent over time, possibly due to changing taste or safety concerns. However, homemade versions and store-bought options like Jell-O pudding still bring this classic delight to our tables.
Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate snacks that will make your mouth sing. Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
Chocolate fondue, with its rich cascade of melted chocolate, was a highlight at many gatherings. Its roots trace back to Switzerland, where the traditional cheese fondue became popular in the 1950s, inspiring fondue parties with special pots and utensils. However, the sweet version, chocolate fondue, emerged from a collaboration between Chef Conrad Elgey of New York's Chalet Swiss restaurant and Toblerone's marketing team. In the 1960s, Chef Elgey, known for his savory bourguignon fondue, introduced chocolate fondue as a dessert, with Toblerone's distinctive triangular chocolate adding a special touch. The basic recipe involves melting high-quality milk chocolate with heavy cream and optional brandy, creating a luscious dip for fruits, marshmallows, and cake. Despite its initial popularity, chocolate fondue gradually lost favor, possibly due to newer culinary trends capturing attention. Blondies, also known as blonde brownies or butterscotch brownies, are similar to regular brownies but without the cocoa. These chewy golden bars have a rich flavor that's sweet and buttery. Blondies first appeared in the late 19th century in the U.S., with Fannie Farmer, a notable cook, publishing the earliest known recipe in 1896. Back then, Farmer called them brownies, though they used vanilla and molasses instead of cocoa, which gave them their distinctive gold color. The name brownies was inspired by the small, elf-like creatures in popular books and cartoons of the time. Unlike traditional brownies, blondies use brown sugar for sweetness and flavor, with vanilla extract adding to their buttery taste. They can include chocolate chips, coconut, nuts, toffee, or M&Ms, but are often enjoyed plain. Once a popular treat among baby boomers, blondies have become less common, perhaps due to their simplicity and lack of chocolate.
Dessert? I didn't make dessert. Oh, instead, I made some fun.
Made some fun.
You've already made the neighborhood fun.
Jell-O molds, those wobbly and colorful dishes, were a highlight of mid-century dining, capturing the spirit of the time. Jell-O's story began in the late 19th century when a struggling patent medicine maker sold the recipe for just $450 to our great-great-great-uncle. By the mid-20th century, Jell-O was a kitchen staple, often shaped into fun forms like pineapples, stars, and fish. It was popular in gelatin salads mixed with fruits, vegetables, or meat, making it a versatile and affordable choice for potlucks and picnics.
When it comes to entertaining, there's nothing quite like Jell-O. It's so bright, so colorful, it's like something out of Wonderland.
However, behind the scenes, the Jell-O curse plagued the family connected to the brand with issues like alcoholism and suicide. As times changed, Jell-O's image suffered with the rise of feminism and shifting taste. By the 1980s, the era of Jell-O molds had passed, yet Jell-O remains a memorable part of American culinary history. Jell-O molds captured the essence of mid-century dining, but as taste shifted, new creations began to take their place. What happened to other iconic dishes from this era? Let's explore ambrosia salad and its sweet nostalgia.
Ambrosia, some of that semi-stiff cream, some more ambrosia.
Ambrosia salad evokes a wave of nostalgia, recalling a time when this sweet dish graced many mid-century tables. Originating in the 1900s, it was named after the food of Greek gods, promising a touch of celestial indulgence, and with a bowl filled with shredded coconut, canned pineapple chunks, mini marshmallows, and mandarin oranges, sometimes topped with maraschino cherries for added color. The dressing varied from sour cream to Cool Whip, a fluffy delight from the 60s, or even homemade whipped cream. Occasionally, grapes, pecans, or apple slices were included to enhance the flavor. In the 1920s, Philadelphia's Stephen F. Whitman and Son ingeniously promoted their new marshmallow whip through food columnists, leading to recipes featuring this fluffy ingredient in newspapers. By 1966, Cool Whip, introduced by General Foods, became a staple in ambrosia salad, boosting its popularity. However, over time, ambrosia salad began to disappear as its once special ingredients became more common. As ambrosia salad's sweetness fades from the spotlight, what makes pineapple upside-down cake a classic treat that still stands the test of time? Let's explore its intriguing history and caramelized charm next. Pineapple upside-down cake is a treat featuring a golden gooey cake topped with caramelized pineapple rings and bright maraschino cherries. Its history is quite interesting. The idea of upside-down cakes goes back to medieval times when pies and tarts were flipped to serve. By the mid-19th century, upside-down cakes with apples or cherries became popular. These cakes were practical because they decorated themselves as they baked and could be made in skillets over coals, which was useful for homes without ovens. Pineapples were once a luxury enjoyed by the wealthy in the 16th and 17th centuries. James Drummond Dole, who founded the Hawaiian Pineapple Company in 1901, sparked renewed interest in pineapples through clever marketing. In 1925, a recipe contest held by Dole led to the creation of a pineapple upside-down cake by Mrs. Robert Davis. The contest saw over 60,000 entries, with 2,500 dedicated to this cake. Betty Crocker's 1969 recipe, using Dole pineapple, helped establish its place in American homes. Cherished Jubilee is a classic dessert that once wound guests at fancy restaurants and dinner parties. Imagine juicy dark cherries soaked in liqueur, set on fire, and then poured over creamy vanilla ice cream. Baby boomers especially love this sweet and tangy treat. The dessert first appeared in the late 19th century, created by the famous French chef Auguste Escoffier. He reportedly made it for Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee in 1897. Picture cherries flaming with brandy, their rich flavor blending with the warm alcohol. Cherished Jubilee became a big hit in the 1950s and 60s, shining in upscale restaurants. Home cooks also impressed their guests by flambeing it at the table, with cherries burning brightly. However, by the late 1960s, the dessert had lost its charm and fell out of fashion, leaving behind just fond memories of its extravagant display and delicious taste. Cherished Jubilee, once the dazzling star of upscale dining, captured hearts with its flambéed cherries and rich flavor. But as trends shift, what dessert took its place in the spotlight? Let's explore the journey of strawberry shortcake next. Strawberry shortcake, a classic summer treat, evokes images of picnics and sunny afternoons with the delight of biting into fresh strawberries. Its history is as layered as the dessert itself. The origins of strawberry shortcake date back centuries. Native Americans once combined berries and cornmeal to make a bread-like dessert similar to a shortcake. By 1594, an English cookbook included a version of strawberry shortcake using a scone-like base, different from today's biscuit-style shortcake. In the early 20th century, Japanese baker Fuji Rinnemon tasted strawberry shortcake in the U.S. in 1910 and brought the recipe back to Japan, where it gained popularity. The classic version of this dessert consists of sweet biscuits or sponge cake, fresh strawberries sliced and sweetened, and a generous layer of whipped cream. Strawberry shortcake was once a Southern tradition celebrating summer's fruit harvest and reached its peak in the 1980s with the strawberry shortcake franchise. However, its widespread popularity eventually led to its decline as it became more common. Icebox cake, a nostalgic American treat, is all about simplicity and cool indulgence. With layers of crisp cookies or graham crackers stacked with fluffy whipped cream and then chilled until they turn into a creamy, sliceable dessert. This dessert's history dates back to the late 1800s when refrigeration was becoming more common. Classic desserts like Charlotte and trifle inspired it. By the 1920s, as the icebox, an early version of the refrigerator became popular, so did icebox cake. This no-bake dessert was perfect for busy home cooks. The cake typically features layers of thin Nabisco famous chocolate wafers spread with sweetened whipped cream. The wafers would soften overnight, blending the flavors and textures beautifully. The icebox cake enjoyed its peak in the 1920s and 30s, benefiting from convenient prepackaged ingredients. Nabisco even included recipes on its product boxes, further boosting its popularity.